Imagine every kid on your street suddenly decides that a specific patch of dirt in someone's backyard is going to be worth $1,000,000. They all rush over, start digging, trading shovels, selling maps to the dirt. Prices go crazy. Nobody wants to miss out. And then one day, someone asks, wait, is this actually just dirt? That, more or less, is what a financial bubble is. And right now, a lot of very serious people in very expensive suits are asking that exact question about artificial intelligence. So is AI just a really hyped-up patch of dirt, or is it something genuinely different? That's the question that's worth about $1 trillion, literally. This is the story of how we got here, why we've been here before, and why the number on the price tag keeps going up anyway. Let's start with the plain language version of what people actually mean when they say AI bubble. It's not that complicated. Huge excitement, huge spending, valuations that make your eyes water, and this creeping, nagging fear that the promises being made today might not survive contact with reality tomorrow. Sound familiar? It should, because we have absolutely done this before. Meet the AI winters. Yes, plural, because apparently once wasn't enough of a lesson. The first one hit around 1974. Here's the vibe. It's the early days of artificial intelligence research. Scientists are genuinely pumped, governments are throwing money at labs, and researchers are casually promising that machines will think like humans within a decade. Spoiler alert, they did not. Funding got slashed. Projects got canceled. The field basically went into hibernation until roughly 1980. Imagine hyping yourself up for a marathon, sprinting the first mile, collapsing, and then telling everyone the marathon was actually canceled. But okay, we learned our lesson, right? Right? Wrong. Enter AI winter number 2, starting around 1987 and dragging on until roughly 2000. This time, the hype was around expert systems, basically software that was supposed to replicate how human experts make decisions. Companies spent fortunes on these things. They were clunky, expensive to maintain, and couldn't handle anything outside their very narrow lane. The market collapsed, funding vanished again. The phrase artificial intelligence became almost embarrassing to say out loud in a serious tech context. Researchers started calling their work machine learning just to avoid the AI stigma. That is genuinely how bad the reputation got. So twice, the world went all in on AI, got burned, and walked away muttering about how they definitely weren't going to do that again. And then came 2012, and everything changed. A team of researchers released something called AlexNet, a neural network that competed in an image recognition contest and didn't just win, it obliterated the competition. It cut the error rate nearly in half compared to the previous best approach. That doesn't sound like a big deal until you realize it was the equivalent of someone showing up to a horse race on a motorcycle. The entire field went quiet for a second and then collectively said, oh. That moment was the spark that lit the current boom. Suddenly, AI wasn't a punchline or a broken promise. It was doing real things better than humans in ways that actually mattered. Investors noticed. Companies noticed. The money started flowing, and it has not stopped. Here's where the numbers get genuinely hard to wrap your head around. In 2022, venture capitalists poured around $50 billion into AI companies. Already insane. But Gartner, one of the most respected research firms in the tech industry, is forecasting that global AI-related IT spending will hit $1.5 trillion in 2025. Trillion, with a T, and then climb past $2 trillion in 2026. To put that in perspective, that's larger than the entire GDP of most countries on Earth being spent on one technology category in a single year. And then there's VC funding projections jumping to an estimated $364 billion in 2025. That's not a typo, that's not a rounding error. That's the market essentially saying, we are not done, we are not slowing down, and we would like more shovels for this dirt patch, please. But no company tells the story of this boom more clearly than NVIDIA. If the AI gold rush is a gold rush, NVIDIA didn't go digging for gold. NVIDIA sells the shovels. And business is absolutely insane. A few years ago, NVIDIA was best known as the company that made graphics cards for gamers and movie studios. Good business, solid company, nothing that would make your jaw drop. Then, AI arrived and realized that the same chips used to render video game explosions were also perfect for training massive AI models. NVIDIA was holding the exact hardware the entire industry desperately needed. The results speak for themselves. NVIDIA's data center business, which is basically synonymous with AI at this point, now accounts for 78% of the company's total revenue. That's up from 55.6% just a couple of years earlier. In their most recent reported quarter, AI-related revenue hit $22.1 billion. That's a 265% jump year over year. Not 26.5%, 265%. In 1 year, the company crossed $1 trillion market cap, and the stock had already surged roughly 200% between 2020 and 2023 before things got even wilder. NVIDIA went from that GPU company to one of the most valuable businesses on Earth, and it did it almost entirely on the back of AI demand. If that's not a symbol of a boom, I genuinely don't know what is. So here's where we land, and here's the question that's going to drive everything else in this video. We've seen bubbles before. We've seen AI hype collapse, twice, into frozen wastelands of canceled grants and embarrassed researchers. We have the receipts. We know how this movie can end. And yet, NVIDIA keeps building. OpenAI keeps raising billions. Microsoft keeps writing checks. Meta is ordering hundreds of thousands of AI chips. The smartest, richest, most sophisticated players in the entire game are not pulling back. They're doubling down. Why? Why would anyone who's read a history book keep betting bigger on something that's crashed before? That's exactly what we're going to find out. So let's actually answer that question. Because they're just greedy and irrational is a fun take, but it's not the real answer. The real answer is both more boring and more terrifying. They're not betting on hype. They're betting on who gets to own the pipes. Think about it this way. The internet didn't just create websites. It created the infrastructure for every business that came after it. Search, cloud storage, social media, e-commerce, streaming. Every single one of those industries runs on top of the internet's plumbing. And the companies that controlled that plumbing, the Amazons, the Googles, the Microsofts, became some of the most powerful businesses in human history. Not because they were the smartest, because they got there first and built the rails everyone else had to ride. AI is the next set of rails, and every major player knows it. This isn't about whether your AI chatbot can write a decent email. This is about who controls the tools that power future software, future search, future cloud services, future workplace products, and future developer ecosystems. If you miss that shift, you don't just lose market share. You become irrelevant. You become the company that was really good at making horse carriages when the car showed up. And nobody wants to be the horse carriage guys. Now back to NVIDIA for a second, because their story is genuinely the cleanest illustration of how this whole thing works. NVIDIA is the shovel seller, and in a gold rush, the shovel seller wins regardless of who actually finds gold. Here's what that means in practice. It doesn't matter if every single AI startup pitching you a revolutionary product eventually flames out. It doesn't matter if half the AI use cases being hyped right now turn out to be useless. As long as anyone is training AI models, they need compute. They need chips. They need NVIDIA's hardware. The demand doesn't depend on any single application succeeding. It depends on the entire category existing, and the entire category is not going anywhere. That's why NVIDIA's stock surged roughly 200% between 2020 and 2023, crossing $1 trillion market cap and then just kept going. That's why investors look at NVIDIA and see not just a chip maker, but the central toll booth of the AI economy. Every company racing to build AI has to pass through NVIDIA's lane and pay the toll. And the line keeps getting longer, but here's where the bubble concern comes back in. Because when a company's stock is priced for perfection, when the expectations baked into the valuation assume that the growth rate stays superhuman forever, that's when history starts clearing its throat nervously. NVIDIA is a real company with real revenue doing real things. And also, stocks priced for perfection have a history of not handling imperfection particularly well. Both things are true simultaneously. Hold that thought. Now let's talk about OpenAI and Microsoft, because their relationship is basically a masterclass in platform strategy dressed up as a funding announcement. In April 2023, OpenAI closed a $300 million share sale at a valuation of between $27 and $29 billion. Around that same time, Microsoft had already committed what's been widely reported as $10 billion, on top of earlier investments totaling around $3 billion. That is a lot of zeros for a company that, at the time, was not generating the kind of revenue that typically justifies numbers like that. So why would Microsoft do it? Is Satya Nadella just really impressed by ChatGPT? No, well, maybe, but that's not the point. Microsoft saw the platform shift coming and decided that the cost of being left out was higher than the cost of overpaying to get in. OpenAI's technology doesn't just power a chatbot, it gets embedded into Microsoft's cloud services. Into Azure, into Office, into GitHub Copilot, which developers are using to write code, into Bing, which was basically a meme before it suddenly became interesting again. Every one of those integrations is a moat. Every developer who builds on top of Microsoft's AI tools is a developer who's not building on Google's or Amazon's. That's not a financial bet. That's a territorial claim. Microsoft isn't buying a stock. Microsoft is buying a seat at the table where the future of software gets decided. And they're not alone at that table. Because then you look at what Meta is doing, and things get even more dramatic. Meta has announced plans to buy 350,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs in 2024. 350,000. These are not cheap graphics cards for gaming setups. 100s go for tens of thousands of dollars each. Google and Amazon are ordering chips at similar scales. The numbers involved are genuinely difficult to fully comprehend. And this is the compute arms race. The logic goes like this. The bigger your AI model, generally the more capable it is. The more capable your AI, the better your products. The better your products, the more users, the more data, the more you can improve the model. It's a flywheel. And the cost of entry, the sheer amount of compute you need to even be competitive, is now so massive that it functions as a moat all by itself. If you don't have the chips, you can't play. Which means if you don't buy the chips now, you might not be able to catch up later. Scale has become the barrier. So you get this almost paradoxical situation where companies are spending insane amounts of money on hardware, specifically because spending insane amounts of money on hardware is what keeps competitors out. Now, a quick reality check, because this video would be doing you a disservice if it skipped the caveats. Forecasts change. Gartner's $1.5 trillion AI spending projection for 2025 is based on current trajectories, and current trajectories have a history of not surviving contact with economic downturns, regulatory crackdowns, or the moment someone important in a boardroom asks, "Wait, is this actually making us money?" OpenAI's $27 to $29 billion valuation was from a private share sale. Later rounds can and do move those numbers in both directions. And history, the AI winters we talked about, has shown repeatedly that real technology and sustainable valuations are not the same thing. The technology can be genuinely transformative, and the stocks can still be wildly overpriced. Those two facts are not mutually exclusive. The dot-com boom had real technology in it too. The internet was real. E-commerce was real. But a lot of companies that were absolutely certain they were going to rule the future still went to zero. So where does that leave us? Here's the honest takeaway. This may very well contain bubble behavior. The valuations are enormous. The hype is everywhere. History is giving us a very pointed look from across the room. But the reason big tech keeps spending, the reason the checks keep getting written and the chip orders keep getting placed, is not because these companies are delusional. It's because missing the AI platform shift could be even more expensive than overpaying now. If AI really does become the infrastructure layer of the next era of software, the cost of being late is not losing a quarter of earnings. It's losing the next decade. That's the bet. Not on AI being perfect. On not being the company that watched it happen from the sidelines. Whether that calculus turns out to be right or catastrophically wrong, that's the trillion-dollar question, literally, and nobody has the answer yet. If you want to keep following the story as it unfolds, subscribe so you don't miss what comes next, because this one is far from over.